Britain is going down a road no one has traveled before, deciding whether or not it should leave the European Union. But for decades here, the debate has been simmering. Now the Prime Minister wants it settled.
The government's position will be to recommend that Britain remains in a reformed European Union.
David Cameron spent the last 2 days, in his words, battling for Britain, meeting with other EU leaders in Brussels, hammering out a better deal for the UK within the Union. And despite some opposition around the table, Britain did gain safeguards for its currency, the pound, and more control over migrant workers from other EU nations.
The settlement addresses all of Prime Minister Cameron's concerns without compromising our fundamental values.
With a new agreement in hand, Cameron has now called a referendum for June 23rd. British voters will decide the country's future, in or out of the EU.
Let me be clear. Leaving Europe would threaten our economic and our national security.
So-called Eurosceptics, though, feel the UK would be better off on its own, not having to send billions to Europe's government.
We would be so much better trading, looking to our links with the Commonwealth, getting control of our borders back, getting control of our democracy back.
Some of Cameron's own cabinet ministers support leaving the EU, but the Out campaign lacks a strong leader, and it hopes to gain the support of London's colourful mayor, Boris Johnson.
The migration crisis is going to continue. It doesn't look like there's a solution in sight. Euroscepticism is growing around the bloc.
If Britain were to leave, the country wouldn't be guaranteed access to EU trade deals, including the long-awaited one Prime Minister Trudeau is expected to sign this year. Canada has a direct stake, he said this week, in a strong and united EU. Opinion polls here give a slight edge to Britain remaining in the Union, but at least 1 in 5 voters say they're undecided, meaning with more than 4 months until the vote, the campaigning getting underway now will be crucial. Andrew?
All right, thanks, Thomas. Thomas Daigle in London. From those trade deal problems Thomas mentioned to everyday life, if Britain does vote to pull out of the EU, it'll trigger some significant change. British citizens wouldn't be able to travel as easily through Europe, and moving to or working there would be far more difficult. British workers could also lose important benefits because they'd no longer be protected by EU laws on pay, leave, and holidays.